Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A pleasant evening and a very warm welcome to the National News Broadcast. We are coming to you live from Rupavahini's News Studios. I'm Delanjali Ananda.
A very good evening. I'm Charita Binipurarachi, and let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news.
Flood warnings issued for Kalani and Ging rivers extended for the next 48 hours. Cabinet approval for the immediate program to provide relief. A special program to control the flood situation in Kolonnava. President says that while other leaders were preoccupied with their own interests, he took charge and led the government with determination. Domestic gas prices reduced. Kegol receives 350 Urumaya deeds. Several sections of the draft electricity bill should be approved with a special majority. Supreme Court informs the Parliament. Modi-led alliance set to win the Indian general election. Rahul Gandhi-led alliance poses a stronger challenge. Now for those and other stories in detail. The Met Department says that the heavy rain condition affected the southwest part of the country is expected to ease temporarily from today.
And meanwhile, flood warning issued for Angay and Kalani rivers have been extended for the next 48 hours. The National Building Research Organisation has indicated that the red alerts issued on landslides in several districts will remain effective. The Irrigation Department has indicated that the flood warnings issued for Ging and Kalani rivers have been extended for the next 48 hours. Flood risk prevails in low-lying areas in Sitawaka, Kaduvela, Biyagama, Kolonnava, Colombo and Wattala divisions which belong to the Kalani River Basin. Meanwhile, a possible flood situation may occur in low-lying areas in Neluwa, Tawalaba, Nagoda, Niyagama, Valapitiya, Tivitura, Alpitiya, Akmimana, Baddegama, Bope and Poddala divisions which belong to Ging River Basin. With the overflowing of the PR5 flood protection bond in Nilwala River Basin, red alert has been issued for surrounding areas. With the rising water levels in the Ging River in Baddegama area, Baddegama Old Town, Nagoda Road, Ikkaduwa Old Road have been completely inundated. Many houses in the area have been submerged in water and the Baddegama water gauge of the Ging River indicated 5.4 meters this morning. District Disaster Management Unit has informed residents living in the lower section of the Ging River to be on high alert. With the overflowing of the Nilwala River, many low-lying areas in Athuraliya, Malimbada divisions in Akurasa are posed with flood risk. Reports have indicated that the Nilwala River was overflowing in Panadugama area along Siambalagoda, Paskoda Road in Akurasa. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Army has indicated that special relief services for the affected residents in Tibbatuava town. Sri Lanka Army relief teams were able to rescue the staff trapped at the office of Medical Health Officer along the Athuraliya Amalgoda Road. 4.5 million rupees worth vaccination stocks for infants was also safely evacuated from the premises. With the overflowing of the Kalani River, Kaduvela and surrounding areas have been inundated and the Kaduvela Expressway entry point has been closed temporarily for 2 days. Many houses in Kalani Mulla, Sedawatta, Vendawatta, Megoda, Kolonnava, Kotuvila and Nobatale remain inundated. Reports have indicated that the flood levels is gradually decreasing at present. Sri Lanka Army continues to provide relief for the flood-affected residents in the area. With the overflowing of the Attanagalu Oya, Gampaha town and surrounding areas have been inundated. Sri Lanka Navy took measures to rescue the public who were strained in the area. Operations to provide relief and other essential commodities for the affected people in Malwana, Vayagama, Kalaniya and Gampa areas are currently underway. The operations are carried out under the directions of Senior Advisor to the President, Ruwan Wijewardena. Kapugampitiya and Kahangama villages in Ratnapura divisions remain inundated for the third straight day. Reports have indicated that water levels along the Ratnapura-Panadura main road continues to decline. Sri Lanka Navy is also continuing relief operations at present. Accordingly, special relief teams have been deployed for Western, Southern and Sabaragamuwa provinces. Sri Lanka Air Force has deployed a Y-12 type aircraft to observe the disaster situation in the Ratnapura area. After a section of a hill in Galkanda, Pahangala, Puakpitiya, Avisawela area collapsed on a house, steps have been taken to evacuate 65 individuals in 14 surrounding houses to safety. The displaced families have been directed to a temporary shelter at Puakpitiya South Junior School. Seventeen deaths have been reported due to prevailing severe weather condition. The government has taken steps to provide essential goods for the affected public sheltered in 122 safe locations.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe remarked that while other leaders were preoccupied with their own interests, he took charge and led the government with determination. He emphasized that the country's economic progress over the past 2 years was achieved by prioritizing ability and confidence over political considerations. The president emphasized that it is the responsibility of all to set aside politics and support the program aimed at building the country's economy. President Wickremesinghe made these remarks while attending a public meeting at the residence of State Minister Ranjit Simalapitiya in Ruwanwala this afternoon. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that some people are questioning how the government can provide so many relief measures for the public. He said that everyone is asking how programs such as Urumaya, Aswasuma and free rice distribution can be implemented by a government that has been declared bankrupt, especially since these were not implemented when the economy was in better shape. Additionally, he said that the government has arranged to increase the salaries of government employees by 10,000 rupees, marking the second such hike since 2015. This is only the second time in the country's history that such a salary increase has been implemented for the government employees. He said that they assumed leadership of a nation facing significant challenges. When other leaders put on their running shoes, he said that they wore slippers and took responsibility for the government adhering to sound policies. He also said that their efforts earned the trust of the International Monetary Fund and the global community. In the span of 2 years, the president said that they made a series of tough economic decisions. Increasing taxes was a particularly tough measure, but he said that they were confident that this strategy would facilitate economic recovery. For the first time since then, Sri Lanka had a government free of political divisions. Every part was represented with distinctions based solely on ability and belief. He pointed out that the democratic system is unprecedented for the president. I beg your pardon? Every party was represented with distinctions based solely on ability and belief. He pointed out that in this democratic system, it is unprecedented for a president to emerge from a party with only one seat. The president said that he sought support from all parties for the recovery program, although some chose not to support the government. Despite this, the president said that he moved forward with a unified effort. For the first time, a non-political cabinet was formed. The president, after attending several meetings during his tour, visited Mideniya-Valawa, the ancestral home of his family in Ruwanwala. While returning to Colombo by air, the President monitored the flood and disaster situation in Kaduvela, Ruwanwella, Ingiriya, Bulatsinhala, Baduraliya, Neluwa, Agalawatha, Matugama and Bandaragama. The Cabinet has approved the memorandum presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe to provide food and essential services to residents in Kolonnava and other areas in the country affected by recent floods.
And as a result of adverse weather conditions, those result measures were stipulated. Following the observation tour of the President yesterday to assess the situation and discuss on the needs of flood-affected residents with local officials in Colombo's suburbs, including Kolonnava, the memorandum was presented to the Cabinet. The approval was granted for the memorandum to address immediate relief and long-term solutions to direct relevant authorities to implement several urgent actions. The relevant authorities in the Kolonnava division has been recommended to refrain from permitting new constructions on the river banks of the Kalani River, take immediate action to remove all illegal constructions, suspend all ongoing landfilling activities, repair and restore the drainage system, and assess the current situation of the wall pumping system and stations attended to immediate repair needs. Additionally, the approval has been granted to appoint a committee chaired by the Colombo District Secretary and comprising of representatives of the relevant authorities, including the Urban Development Authority and the Department of Irrigation. The committee was inquired into the possible root causes of the floods in the Kolonnava area and recommend remedial measures to be taken to avoid such recurrences of floods in the area in future.
The State Minister Pramita Bandarapennakon says that the government has taken all necessary measures to provide relief for the public affected from disaster situations, including floods. He made these remarks at a Parliament today while briefing on the prevailing disaster situation. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said that adequate relief should be provided for the people in disaster-stricken areas. He said that many are deprived of basic needs including shelter, food and clothing. He said that as per the information received, only 1 million rupees worth additional funds have been allocated for district secretaries, which is inadequate.
මම හිතන්නේ ඒක කිසිසේත්ම ප්‍රමාණවත් වන්නේ නැහැ.
මේ රටේ බහුතරයකට ගම් වතුර මතක් වෙන්නේ ගම් වතුර වෙලාවට තමයි.
State Minister Pramita Bandarapennakon said that the disaster-stricken districts have already identified programs to mitigate the flood situation. He said that as an example, a solution has been identified for Ratnapura district, which has been faced with an objection. He said that environmental organization and the political authority often clash over such matters. However, he said that despite such pressure, a decision has to be reached to implement these solutions to mitigate the disaster situation. He said that after considering the prevailing situation, the cabinet ministers led by the president has allocated required financial provisions through a special cabinet paper. He said that identifying the lack of funds allocated to provide relief for affected people to meet various basic requirements, necessary measures have been taken to address these issues. He also said that a separate provision has been provided for district and divisional secretaries to perform their duties without any hindrance.
Governor of the Western Province, Marshal of the Air Force Roshan Gunadlaka says that all schools in the Western Province except the schools affected by floods and continue to operate as shelters will reopen tomorrow.
The latest situation with regard to the schools in the Western Provincial Council, since we have not experienced rain for the past 2 days and the water is now receding gradually, wherever the water has completely receded from the school premises, we have instructed the zonal directors to clean those schools and to start those schools immediately. But wherever there are the schools that are used to house people who have been displaced, those schools will be closed for the time being. So this is the latest situation with regard to the schools in relation to the floods that we experienced recently.
Litro and Love's gas companies have decided to reduce gas prices, with relevant decisions will come to effect from midnight today. Accordingly, 12.5 kilogram of litro domestic gas cylinder has been reduced by 150 rupees and the new price is at 3,790 rupees. Meanwhile, the new price of 5 kilogram domestic gas cylinder is at 1,522 rupees after being reduced by 60 rupees. The 2.3 kilogram domestic gas cylinder has been reduced by 28 rupees and the new price is at 712 rupees. Chairman of the Litro Gas Company, Mudita Perez, said that the dollar rate saw a minor increase based on a small price fluctuation in the world market. However, he said that through effective management and with the world market price changes, Litro Gas Company was able to provide this benefit for the consumers. Meanwhile, Love's Gas Company has also decided to reduce gas prices as well. Accordingly, 12.5 kilogram of Love's domestic gas cylinder has been reduced by 160 rupees and the new price is at 3,680 rupees. The new price of 5 kilogram domestic gas cylinder is at 1,477 rupees. Group Chief Executive Officer of the Love's Gas Company, Dr. Niroshan J. Perry, said that they were able to provide this price reduction based on the world market prices and the interest rate decline.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that failing to adhere to the International Monetary Fund agreements would retrograde the country. He urges support the economic transformation bill presented to Parliament while emphasizing that it is the responsibility of all to implement the agreements. The President made these remarks during the Urume Freehold Deeds and Rice Distribution Program and Wandala Sri Vishuddharama Karavanalla. As a part of the Urume program, 350 freehold deeds were distributed in the Kegol district and 800 low-income families received 10 kilos of rice each in the second phase of the rice distribution program. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that they have successfully negotiated agreements with the IMF to outline the objectives for the country's economic development. The aim is for the country's economy to achieve a 5% growth by 2027 with a further increase to 8% in future. Additionally, he said that they are committed to reducing unemployment to 5% by 2025 and extreme poverty to 25% by 2027 and then to 10% by 2035. The IMF has provided extensive support for the government's efforts to revitalize the country's economy following the public commitment to this cause. He said that they are also actively working to restructure the repayment of our foreign debts as failure to adhere to these agreements with the IMF will jeopardize the country's progress and support from the organization, as Sri Lanka has previously made and broken such promises on a number of occasions. These negotiations are reaching their conclusion, so there is no use in spreading rumors in the political arena. It is important for them to fulfill their promises within the framework, he added. To the opposition, the president said that they turned against the government because they could not handle responsibilities and traditional politics, while the government fearlessly accepted the challenges, and the government are in power today because of these results have they achieved.
විපක්ෂයට කියනවා සර්වපාක්ෂික විපක්ෂයට කියනවා ඔයා විපක්ෂයට ගියේ මගකීම ගන්න බැරි වුණේ නිසා සම්ප්‍රදායික දේශපාලනේ හිටපු නිසා අපි ආණ්ඩුවේ ඉන්නේ බය නැතුව අභියෝගේ අරගෙන අලුතෙන් හිටපු නිසා දැන් මේ අපි ප්‍රතිඵල පෙන්නලා තියෙන නිසා අපි ඔක්කොමලා එකතු වෙලා එක පාරක ගමන් කරමු කියලා මම ඒ සියලු දෙනාගෙන්ම ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
State Minister Kanaka Herath said that President Ranil Wickremesinghe has been instrumental in advancing the country's economy and implementing new technology over the past 2 years. He urged the public to reflect on the progress made during the time when making decisions in future elections. Governor of the Sabaragamu province Navin Dissanayake said that as the president, he is now implementing the free land deeds program, aiming to convert existing license into freehold deeds through the Urume initiative. Similar programs in countries like Singapore have significantly benefited the population. These deeds are provided today will not only benefit the economy but also the public as well. State Minister Tharaka Balasuriya said that by providing capital to improvisioned individuals, the land caused by Buddhist communities during the colonial time can now be utilized for free, directly contributing to the country's economy. And our early results from India's general election suggest the incumbent Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on track to win a rare third term in office.
Modi's main rival, the Indian National Congress led by Rahul Gandhi, created a coalition with dozens of other political parties to mount a challenge to Modi's seemingly enduring popularity. Although Prime Minister Narendra Modi's National Democratic Alliance has gained more than 290 seats, BJP party has fallen short of 272 seats needed for a majority on its own and will need members of its alliance to form a government. Narendra Modi's alliance was predicted by many independent polls and surveys to secure over 400 seats, which proved to be wrong. The BJP won 303 seats on its own in 2019, well above 272 needed to form a government. Together with allies, it won 353 and earned a brute majority. But it's becoming clear now that the BJP alone is unlikely to reach 272 and it will have to depend on its allies to form the government. This will affect the centralized decision-making style of Modi, and he will now have to take allies into confidence before announcing key measures. Modi has won from his constituency Varanasi by a margin of more than 152,000 votes. But this is a quite low compared with his winning margins in the past two elections. Despite being behind, opposition leaders have not ruled out talks on forming their own governing coalition. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has done well in both of his constituencies, Wayanad in the south and Raebareli in the north, and Wayanad, which has been a Congress bastion since 2009. Gandhi has won by a margin of over 364,000 votes. Though the results have not been called in Raebareli yet, trends show that Gandhi has bagged more than 600,000 votes and is well ahead of his opponent from the BJP, who is trailing by 390,000 votes. The world's biggest election was held in 7 phases over 6 weeks, with almost 1 billion people registered to vote. Now, Charita, as we, the neighbors of India, certainly from a perspective of geopolitics, we are keen to know the results as well. Although we hear this story as of now, the formal official results are still not yet released. So we have with us international news analyst Mr. Prasad Dangadage on board to know his insights towards what's going on and what would be expected in the results that will be coming on, and also how it might be affecting globally and even from the Sri Lankan perspective.
Yes, Duranjali. Now, immediately what we can say, Prime Minister Narendra Modi just a short while ago, he visited party headquarters in New Delhi, and he claimed the victory. He made a victory speech there and he thanked all the voters, and he said in some areas BJP has performed really well, and he said it's a surprise for any party to have, get the third term. Now this is his third term as the BJP and the ND, National Democratic Alliance, ruling. So he, as the leader of NDA, he made very encouraging statements and gathered all the party support. But because at the start, the releasing of the results made some kind of a chaos, because unexpected performance by the India Alliance led by Rahul Gandhi. They showed some kind of an unexpected strongness. So that strength, little bit at the first stage, we saw that BJP supporters little bit, there was a visibility of some kind of shaken.
Because the predictions were also proven to be wrong.
Yes, all the exit polls and pre-election polls, all kind of predictions. They said Modi's NDA as well as Bharatiya Janata Party will gain absolute majority. Now NDA got the majority, but not the Bharatiya Janata Party. As you said, the official results are yet to be released. However, it's very clear according to the counting process and the behavior of the votes, it's very clear that Modi's party will end up in 2040 or 41 seats, which is lower than previous parliament, which they got 303 seats. So it's some kind of challenge, because now entirely Bharatiya Janata Party and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, they have to depend on their allies, especially Telugu Desam Party as well as the other parties. So that's why Rahul Gandhi, short while ago, he addressed a press conference and he did not rule out efforts to form a government, because he said that the NDA alliance members like Telugu Desam Party and those parties were former Congress allies. So Congress and the India Alliance, they are having a meeting, according to the reports from New Delhi. They are having a meeting in Delhi to discuss the next steps. What are the next steps that they are going to take? And they don't rule out that they are going to have discussions with the members of the coalition members of the Bharatiya Janata Party's NDA, because those parties are not really, they are in coalition with Bharatiya Janata Party, but they are separate parties, and some of these parties previously worked with Congress. So that option also Rahul Gandhi did not rule out. As mentioned in our previous news item, he won both seats at the Raebareli. Still the results are coming, but it's very clear that Rahul Gandhi will win that. And at the same time, now this is the main topic related to this election, is the shock took place in the vote counting, because it was unexpected. It was some kind of amazing thing, but still Prime Minister Narendra Modi, his party, Bharatiya Janata Party, as well as the NDA, ruling NDA, they are very much in power. So they can easily form a government, they can continue work. That's what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said. And in his speech, he didn't mention about anything related to this he didn't call he didn't remind any setbacks or anything like that.
He was confident, still confident
he showed his confidence, and he didn't mention about his dream of acquiring 400 parliament seats as well, which he was declared during his election campaign. And one of the key points in this election, we could see that the nature of the ruling NDA will be changed in the future, because they have to depend on their allies, and they have to put more weight on their allies and keep them together. So then now political analysts believe that Indian government, future Indian government under Narendra Modi may be a little bit different as the NDA members get more power related to this his Bharatiya Janata Party. We'll see.
Okay, so still in anticipation, we'll have to still wait for the final results that would come.
Yes. Continuing with more local stories, Minister Bandra Gunawardena says Bahindodaya and computer labs were established across the country during his term as the Education Minister was not to take political advantages. He said that the establishment of smart classrooms in schools in Homagama electorate will be commenced for the future of children. The minister made these remarks at the cabinet briefing held today. Minister Bandra Gunawardena said that during his term as the Education Minister, with the cabinet approval, a new subject stream was introduced, which was technology subject. He said that they were able to establish 10,000 Bahindodaya labs and provide 62 computers for each school. He also said that 251 technological labs were established, including North and East. He said that they was accused of embezzling 1,000 million rupees from the Bahindodaya project by JVP trade unions, and a complaint was also lodged to the Bribery Commission. However, he said that he vehemently rejected the accusations. He pointed out that this project was a turning point in the history of the country's education. Accordingly, he said that he decided to provide 100 smart classrooms for students in Homagama educational zone. He said that the educational zone, which was ranked 11th in the province when he took the education ministerial portfolio, has now reached the 5th place. He said that the advancing of the national policy on education is the most important duty of all. The minister also responded to a query raised over the salary hike of the state workers. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that President has appointed an expert committee to present a special report over the issues pertaining to the state workers' salary hike and its feasibility into the long run. The relevant recommendations of the committee will be presented to the courts.
And now let's take a look at several cabinet decisions in brief. The Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal to remove the requirement of obtaining import control license for the import of selected grains, including mung beans, black gram, cowpea, finger millet, soy flour and peanut. The necessary measures have been taken to protect local producers. President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal based on the recommendations of the Cabinet Subcommittee regarding the preparations of the National Education Policy Framework to take measures with the aim of establishing an appropriate administrative structure for the efficient and effective implementation of the overall education reforms. The proposal was presented by Minister Susil Premjayantha. Classification of schools according to international standards and the establishment of 9 educational reforms units for the 9 provinces are some of the recommendations made by the Cabinet Subcommittee. The Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal presented by Minister Pavitra Vagnarachi to obtain the services of the World Meteorological Organization, an international organization with extensive experience in the field of meteorology and hydrology and the technical ability to improve emergency warning systems. This would enable Sri Lankan agencies to accurately predict high-risk weather and climate conditions quickly and reduce the high costs annually spent by the government on post-disaster management activities.
Speaker Mahindra Pabewardhan announced today that the Supreme Court has informed that certain sections of the draft electricity bill should be approved with a special majority in Parliament. The determination has further indicated that if the amendments proposed by the Supreme Court are to be included in the bill, then the requirement for a special majority approval will be removed. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said that there are several concerns pertaining to the draft bill which requires a special majority. Therefore, he proposed to postpone the date to reach a decision over the draft bill. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara said that the Supreme Court in its determination has indicated that a draft bill can be passed in Parliament with the inclusion of the proposed amendments. He said that the proposed amendments in the determination will be referred to the Energy Committee and further study in this regard. He also said that during hearing, there were several amendments which were agreed with the Supreme Court. He pointed out that several sections of the draft bill are already included in the SJB economic blueprint and expected to be fulfilled under a SJB government as per the SJB policy statement. However, he said that as the opposition, SJB has raised objections for the same sections. Therefore, he said that the government is prepared for a debate on the 6th. That's it on local stories. Stay tuned with international news after this break.
உங்கள் லட்சியம் தங்கம் என்றால் அது சுவர்ண பிரதீப தங்க கடன் அடக்குச் சேவை மக்கள் வங்கியிடம் இருந்து.
Welcome back with the foreign update. And the annual motor show in Geneva, Switzerland is coming to a close after more than a century due dimpling interest and a touch market environment. First staged in 1905, the Geneva International Motor Show has been fixtures of new vehicle launches, mainly in Europe, attracting at least 120 exhibitors at its peak. In recent years, the Geneva event has had to compete with bigger, more popular shows in Munich and Beijing. After 4 years of interruption, starting with the cancellation of 2020 edition due to the COVID pandemic, the organizers failed to get the show back on road after what had been billed as a fresh start this spring.
And also very happy with the
South Africa secures a 6-wicket victory against Sri Lanka in the T20 Cricket World Cup match played yesterday. The match was played in New York. Batting first, Sri Lanka only managed to gather 77 runs in their innings. Kusal Mendes scored 19 runs while Angelo Matthews was 16. Eric Monotri picked up 4 wickets for South Africa. South Africa, in response, managed to chase down the target in the 16th over of their innings with 6 wickets in hand. Quinton de Kock scored 20 while Henrich Carlson brought not out 19. Wanidhu Hasaranga claimed 2 wickets for 22 runs. And that's all the news we have for tonight. Join us tomorrow at the same time for the very latest on Channel Eye. I'm Delanjali together with Charita signing off. Good night.
Good night.